The Hungry Little Robin. Far away in the country, at the bottom of a big hill, there lived a little old lady all alone. Her name was Dame Twinkles, and it suited her, for when she smiled, her eyes twinkled in her face. She was a kind old woman, and although she was very poor, she always had a carrot to spare for the donkey in the field nearby, and a few crumbs for the birds. One day, when it was winter, there came a spell of bitter, frosty weather. All the ponds and puddles froze up, and even the little stream. The ground was so hard it was like iron. The farmer took his donkey out of the field and put him into a warm shed. "Dear, dear," said Dame Twinkles, looking out of her window, "what bitter weather! How are the birds going to get worms out of the ground, or find any seeds now everywhere is frozen hard? And where will they get water to drink?" Outside, there were some poor, cold little birds, wondering if Dame Twinkles was going to give them any crumbs. The thrushes and the blackbirds could not peck anything out of the hard ground. The robin could find no insects. The sparrows had eaten all the seeds and berries there were. Worst of all, there was no water to drink. Dame Twinkles nodded at the little things. "I'll bring you water in a minute," she said, "and I'll put out a few plant pots for you to roast in, with straw inside to keep you warm, and you shall have a fine cake all to yourselves." So she put out a big dish of water and arranged some plant pots on their sides here and there with straw inside. She knew that many birds would sleep in the pots that night, especially the little ones who felt the cold so much. Then she baked them a fine cake of different seeds and currants and flour, and put it in a whole tree stump for them to eat. She cooked 2 large potatoes in their skins and split them open for the birds to peck at. She hung up a bone for the crows and the starlings, and weren't they delighted? "Isn't she kind? Isn't she kind?" sang the big blackbird. "She's sweet, sweet, sweet," sang the thrush. "Shall I tell her? Shall I tell her?" asked the robin in his creamy voice. "Yes, do, said all the birds. They knew that the robin was the tamest and friendliest of them all, so the little robin flew to the window and tapped on it with his beak. Dame Twinkles opened the window in surprise. The robin hopped into the room, sat on the mantelpiece, and sang with all his might to thank Dame Twinkles. She listened and nodded. "I understand you," she said. "I'm glad I can help you, hungry little robin. Come and peck at the window whenever you want anything." So after that, whenever he and the other birds were hungry, thirsty or cold, they sent the robin to peck at the window, and very soon he was so tame that he would perch on Dame Twinkle's shoulder and take crumbs from her mouth. She loved him, for he was a pretty happy little thing with a beautiful voice. One night that winter it began to snow, and how it snowed! The flakes were as big as swan feathers, and they floated down all night long. The wind blew the snow against the little cottage at the foot of the hill and piled it up around it, so when Dame Twinkles awoke that morning, she wondered why her cottage was so dark. "Why, the snow is right up against my window," she cried. "I can't see out. It must have been snowing all night long. I'm snowed up." She dressed and went to her front door, but she couldn't open it because of the weight of the snow against it. She was a prisoner. "Oh, good gracious," said Dame Twinkles, afraid. "What am I to do? I can't get out. Perhaps somebody will think of me and come and dig me out." But nobody came. Nobody thought of the little cottage tucked away at the foot of the hill. All that day and the next night Dame Twinkles waited and waited, but nobody came to help her. "If the snow does not melt, I shall starve here," said the old lady to herself. "It seems colder than ever. It might last for weeks." Now outside, the birds were wondering what had happened to the cottage, for it was half buried. On the second day, when no Dame Twinkles had appeared to give them food and water, the robin said he would try and find a window and peck at it. So he scrambled through the snow and managed to make himself a passage to the window, and he pecked on it. Tap, tap, tap. Dame Twinkles jumped. Then she saw that it was a hungry little robin. She opened the window and let him in. She gave him a few crumbs and a drink of water. He hopped onto her shoulder. And then an idea came to Dame Twinkles. Suppose she wrote a tiny note, tied a piece of cotton to it, and bound it round the robin's leg. Maybe someone would see it and perhaps rescue her. So she quickly got a small piece of paper and wrote on it. She gently took the robin in her hand and tied the little note around its leg. "Diddly, diddly," said the robin in surprise, but he did not struggle, for he was not afraid of Dame Twinkles. "Listen, my little friend," said Dame Twinkles. "Go to the farmer who lives on the other side of this hill, and let him take this note from your leg. I have been kind to you, and now it's right that you should do something for me." Robin carolled a little song and flew to the window. He understood perfectly, for he was very tame. He made his way through the snow and flew up into the air. He sang to tell the other birds what he was going to do, and then he flew off to the farm. The farmer's wife was a cheery, kindly soul, and was singing a little song in her kitchen when the robin tapped hard at her window-pane. "Oh, my bless her soul, it's hungry little Robin," she said to the farmer, who was having his dinner. "I'll let it in and give it a bite to eat. Shoo, puss, puss, go into the hall or you'll frighten the robin." The cat shot into the hall. The door was shut on her. The farmer's wife opened the window, and in came the robin. It flew to the table and sang to the farmer as loudly as it could. "Well, here's a queer thing," said the farmer, staring at Robin in surprise. "What's it singing at me for?" "It's got something wrong with its leg," said its wife. "Look, what's the matter with it?" The farmer stretched out his hand, expecting the robin to fly at once, but it didn't. It stood there, half afraid, and let the farmer feel its leg. "Why, it's paper," said the farmer. He untied a note from the robin's leg and read it. "Oh, look, my dear, it's come from old Dame Twinkles to say she's snowed up. Oh, poor old thing. I must go and dig her out at once. Fancy her sending a letter by a robin." The farmer put on his hat and coat, took a spade, and went off through the snow to the old Dame Twinkles. His strong arms soon dug away the snow from her door and windows and made a good path for her to the gate. "Oh, thank you," cried the old lady. "My little Robin must have taken your note very quickly." "He's a brave little thing," said the farmer, looking at the robin, who was standing on the handle of his spade, flicking his wings. "You're lucky, Dame Twinkles, to have a little friend like that." "Dilly-lee! We are lucky to have a friend like Dame Twinkles," sang the robin. "Are you all right now, Dame Twinkles?" "Quite all right," said the old lady, smiling. "And tomorrow I'll bake you all a fine new cake for yourselves for a treat." And she did. And the last time I passed that way, the birds were so busy eating it.